Welcome, Walton and Ramir, to Geek Salad's Retro Movie Review from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And tonight we are talking about yet another summer blockbuster. This one actually took me by surprise. It's actually being released in the summer, but Mike says it's so I'm not going to argue with him. We are talking
I think it was like July 2nd.
Okay. We are going to talk about the greatest comedy in history, and I will fight you on this one.
I hold one
Airplane.
I hold one other comedy in higher regard.
Which one?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay. I love Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I just think this one is funnier. It's just that it's, just the laugh per minute rate on this is it's nonstop. It's very efficient comedy, which
Yes.
I just love. It's kind of weird to say for such a silly movie, but it does have a workman rate. It's just the professional workman's rate of comedy and just how fast the jokes come. And the jokes are going while they're splashing the credits on the screen at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, very much so. Hell, the jokes start as soon as we see an image on the screen.
Yeah. Exactly, with the Jaws riff. Now, if you aren't aware of Airplane, it's a parody of the airplane disaster movies of the 1970s. Most of them were the airport movies.
But it is actually you could make an argument that it is actually a remake of a particular movie.
Yeah. Wait, what was the name of the movie, Mike?
0 Hour.
0 Hour. It is just one of these movies that there were so many airplane movies that came out in the 1970s that it definitely required a comedic response to it. And Abrams Zucker put together this cavalcade of jokes and formed it into the most perfect movie. It really, truly is a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, you're only doing yourself an injustice.
I mean, it is so close to 0 Hour, though. Some of the lines are even taken directly from 0 Hour.
Like, I'm not familiar with 0 Hour. I mean,
it's basically about a guy named Ted Stryker, who was a pilot in World War II, or the war. But he was in command of a mission that went south, and now he has like PTSD, and he has to, his wife and child are leaving him. He has to go onto this plane, and the plane has an issue where half the flight crew and all the passengers start getting sick from bad fish. Literally, it is so. I mean, they literally had to buy the rights to 0 Hour before they made this movie, just so they cover all their bases.
Wow.
I mean, Leslie Nielsen's line. Apparently, the line that convinced Abrams and Zucker to make this movie was the line taken right from 0 Hour and used right in Airplane. We have to find someone who can not only fly this plane, but who didn't have fish for dinner. They heard that line, they're like, we've got to make this comedy movie.
Yeah. It is just, like I said, just from the very start, the Jaws joke, the white zone joke, the white zone, red zone joke.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Every damn time I go to an airport, the second we pull up to that terminal, because we usually take the shuttle to get there, the white zone is for the immediate loading and unloading of passengers.
And I'm just thinking, don't start with your white zone bullshit.
We know what this is about. You want me to have an abortion. And there's also stuff too that's kind of lost to time in terms of being accosted by the Hare Krishna.
Oh yeah.
In the airport. There's always like these little fringe religious cults that would give you a flower or give you a pamphlet.
Yeah. In this movie, it was the Church of Religious Consciousness.
Right.
And when they tried to
go to Hare Krishna.
And when they tried to accost it, yeah, Harry Krishna's, no thanks, we gave it the office.
Yeah. That's fantastic. A lot of and I'm not a big pun guy, but jokes like the when Stryker is ordering his ticket.
Oh yeah.
Smoking or non-smoking? Smoking, please. And the ticket is smoking. And
yeah.
In any other context, I would hate that joke. But for some reason, it just works.
What I love so much about this movie, though, is that literally halfway through the movie, we're introduced to a whole new cast of characters that integrate seamlessly into the movie.
The second we're introduced to Rex Kramer.
Rex Kramer, Lloyd Bridges' character.
Yep.
Johnny.
Oh my God. I remember I had seen Airplane steadily since I was 8 years old. My grandmother took me to see this movie.
How did she explain the sudden boob shot?
She couldn't. She just couldn't. And honestly, I do believe that I think I've always credited Clash of the Titans with this, but I do believe Airplane was the first time I ever saw naked breasts on screen, and I was 8 years old, which is fantastic. It is just, yeah, there's so many characters, but I remember I must have been in 7th grade, so 13. So yeah, about 5 years after the movie had been released, and it was on TV, and a lot of my friends had watched it, and I had watched it, and I'd forgotten just how amazing the character of Johnny is, and he serves no purpose in the entire movie other than to have these little throwaway things. What do you make of this? Well, I can make a hat, I can make a brooch, I can make a pterodactyl.
He just appears, gives this weird one-liner, and then leaps out of frame. And you
oh my God,
him.
The Leon's getting larger. It's just there. It's a joke that Johnny just comes in and Leon's getting larger. And he side jumps out of frame.
And I mean, everyone's so sad, oh, we can't. And Johnny's just where did you get that dress? It's awful. Oh.
Oh my God. Yeah, but the Rex Kramer introduction is fantastic because you're introduced to his wife first.
Mm.
And she gets the phone. No, was it it was Captain Over's wife.
Oh yes. Yeah.
She gets the call from the airport, and then she just turns on the light and just rolls over in bed, and there's a horse there. There's been a problem. I have to go to the airport.
Let yourself out. It's never explained why there's a horse in the bed. It's just there, and you accept it.
Yeah. There are so many jokes in this movie. Again, it's just the cast of characters that they just assembled for this thing are fantastic. And they're all a lot of them at this point were very serious actors.
I think that's actually one of the things that works most about this movie is because if you had a comedian, a comic actor, I don't think this movie would have worked. You had
Leslie Nielsen at this point was still primarily known as your sci-fi hero or heavy.
I mean, Peter Graves.
Yeah, Peter Graves. Exactly. Peter Graves. Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah.
Oh Christ, why can't I remember his name? Robert Stack.
Yes.
I mean, these are all just huge, these just very serious actors with this long tenured history of television and movies. And Robert Hayes was a reasonable newcomer. Julie Haggerty, same thing.
Yeah.
And those two work so perfectly together because they're both in on the joke, but they never seem embarrassed by it. It's this movie just the way that they respond to things and the way that they deliver their lines are great, especially when at the very beginning when Ted says, I'm making changes. She's like, I'm going to go and I'm going to start my life over again. And he just turns to the camera and goes, what a pisser.
like I said, if they played this for jokes, if they had like been winking at the camera, I don't think this movie would work. The reason it works so well is because you have all this complete ridiculousness happening on camera, but nobody is reacting to it.
Right. They don't wait for a laugh break. Which obviously film you shouldn't be doing that, but there are times when they'll let a joke sit too long, and this movie doesn't do that at all.
No.
Which is it's just fine filmmaking. And my favorite scene in this entire movie is the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where they bring the kid into the cockpit.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
In a Turkish prison.
I mean, the first time you see Peter Graves, Captain Over,
Yeah.
he's in the airport looking at porno mags.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that, like modern sperm?
I believe so, yeah. But it was like it was the section in the on the newsstand called whacking material. But the thing is that these movies would have, like, they would bring in a sports figure to just play a character, and the fact that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in there and he's trying to play this other character, and the kid is just, you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you're the greatest. But my dad says you don't try hard enough.
And finally, he just snaps.
The look on his face, the look on Kareem's face, where he's just like, he's holding the controllers. It's just.
And then after he snaps it, like good take and like brings the kid to the task, the look on
his collar.
The look on the kid's face was like
that look. They got that look out of so many children in this movie. It wasn't even funny.
Oh, dude.
Black, like my men. The look on that kid's face. The crushed look on that kid's face.
Oh. And to be honest, he probably had no idea. Like the kid actor probably had no idea what the hell that line was all about.
Right. They just said, make this face. And the kid made the face. And they hung on it for a perfect amount of time.
Yep.
But, I mean, even like the story, the love story, which usually tends to drag down any movie.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's compelling. They had that bit where after the mission goes south, and Stryker's in the Veterans Hospital.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't George Zip. George Zip died yesterday.
Win just one for the zipper.
But it was it was like one of the people had severe shell shock and thought they were Ethel Merman.
Yeah, and it actually was Ethel Merman. her last movie role before her death.
Yeah, she like lived like another 5 years after that though. But yeah, the best part about that though is when she's singing "Everything's Coming Up Roses" and they put her down,
and she actually kind
of trails out the roses.
My favorite line in this one, when Barbara Billingsley talks jive.
It's perfect casting. It just. It's tough because, again, you're talking about the era of the movie this was in when, Jive Talk was pretty huge in the 1970s. And the fact that they decided to subtitle these guys.
Yeah.
And in the mostly polite kind of way, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like,
shit. Translate golly.
Well, the funny thing is, apparently, like Zucker, Abrams and Zucker, they got the inspiration for that scene from watching Shaft.
Oh,
and they had no idea what they were saying in Shaft, so they like wrote their own kind of jive. And the two guys that they cast actually rewrote all of that to make sense.
Like go down and slack him, yak him. Justify shit.
Trump don't want help. Trump don't get help.
Jive-ass turkey ain't got no brains anyhow. And just it's such perfect delivery, and a lot of like the little bits with the husband who has the second cup of coffee. He never has a second cup of coffee at home. He never vomits at home.
And let's not forget Ted's drinking problem.
Oh my God, what a fantastic joke that is. And it just keeps coming back.
Because it works on like so many different levels.
Well, there's so many different like recurring jokes in this movie too that just they never get old. The stuff that every time Ted tells his story to somebody, they kill themselves. The old woman's legs are just hanging there.
And of course, like probably the most famous line from this movie, "I am serious, and don't call me Shirley." And the introduction of Leslie Nielsen's Dr. Rumack.
Yeah.
I think the person next to me is a doctor. He's got a stethoscope in his ears.
Are you a doctor? Yes, I am.
And then when he's like
pulling
the egg
for dinner tonight, chicken or fish? Yes, I remember. I had the lasagna. Oh, jeez. He's so good in it too, because again, he's just very. Leslie Nielsen has a very different brand of delivering comedic lines, but they're so straight and so earnest.
Yeah.
And it works. And this is why he got the career after this with Police Squad and Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad.
Yep.
And he's just so good in this movie. Everybody in this movie is just, there isn't a weak performance in this entire thing. And there's so many there's not a throwaway joke either. That's the nice thing about this movie, is that there's not one throwaway joke. I mean, sure, you forget about the kid who needed the heart transplant, and they had to keep her IV completely still.
Oh, by the way, when the Mayo Clinic is talking to Captain Over in the beginning,
the heart's just jumping.
I never noticed it before, but when I rewatched it, on the shelf behind him, jars of mayonnaise. The Mayo Clinic,
of course. Oh, jeez, and
give me ham on 5, cold the mayo.
But just that bit with the the guitar. Can I borrow your guitar? And she's holding it. First, she bangs everyone's head on the way back, and then she's playing the song, and everyone gets excited about it. And then she knocks the IV.
And she keeps playing, and everyone's just
there is only one river.
I love how like everyone's just smiling and happy and crying.
The best part about that too is that everyone is happy, and then there's a head that just drops from the top of the screen. Oh, you know who we're forgetting though? We haven't talked about Otto, the autopilot. Oh, jeez.
The unsung hero of this movie.
Not a line uttered, but the fact that when he started to deflate and the inflation tube was right below his belt.
And
going back to a TV viewing of this, I was watching this with my dad. It was like I must have been like 15 or 16 years old. I watched it with my dad, and he is losing his mind laughing. I don't think I've ever seen my dad laugh at a movie, like ever. And he's just like, he's really just trying to hold it in. And it's hilarious because I think at that point I knew what a blowjob was. And the fact that they just, like, Dr. Rumack comes in and, she's on her knees trying to make the thing.
And he just and he walks right back out. And then they're both smoking a cigarette afterwards.
Right. With that sound, just like that real monotone airplane sound, which you can hear throughout the entire movie.
Oh, and the sound of the plane, it's a jet airplane, but they had the sound of propellers.
Yeah.
Because in 0 Hour, it was a prop plane.
Right.
And they decided to keep it.
That is hilarious. It really is.
Oh, yeah, and do you know who the executive at Paramount that greenlit this movie was? Mr. Michael Eisner.
It was Mr. Michael Eisner, wasn't it?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep. He only let him do that is because he hit Howard Koch in charge, and Howard Koch got it.
Well, that's the thing too, is that this movie definitely had leeway. They had a lot of leeway. Which is great. And unfortunately, this is the type of movie outside of this and let's be honest, the first Naked Gun, you can't replicate this.
I would also put Hot Shots Part 1 and Part 2 in there.
Yeah, okay. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Especially because Part 2 actually had some funnier jokes than Part 1.
Which is an extraordinary rarity in comedies.
Right. It's just, well, Naked Gun 2.5 was kind of the same thing. There were some very good jokes in that. Have you seen Airplane 2?
I think I saw it a very long time ago on TV, and I just never wanted to watch it again.
Yeah, when I was like 11 years old and it was on HBO, fine. It was okay. It was funny for that time.
Yeah.
Horrible, worse than Airplane.
From what I remember, it pretty much just replicated every single joke.
Yeah, to an extent, except they were going into space.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the same thing also about, Ted still can't get it together.
Of course not.
Yeah. And, oh, man. It's just tough because this is the kind of movie that you just want to spend time with your friends quoting it.
And I believe this was the second movie in history, just behind Muppet Movie, that had a post-credit sequence.
That's right, it did.
The guy,
and we're counting on you. Good luck, and we're all counting on you.
The guy that
Oh yes,
in the taxi. Okay, I'll give him 5 more minutes, and the fare's at like $11,000.
Oh Jesus, this movie is just fantastic. Again, if you haven't watched this movie, this is why I put the movie in the end notes. So you can click on it and rent it and watch it and enjoy. Yeah, I really I do truly adore this movie, and it's all I gotta really say about that. I mean, we wanted to keep this one short for a number of different reasons, but this is just. Yes, Mike. I'm sorry.
I do have to ask you though. When do you think would be an appropriate time to show Scarlett this movie?
That's a great question. Probably when she's 14 or 15.
Yeah, because there are a lot of interesting.
Don't forget, this is the age before PG-13.
Yeah, this would have easily been PG-13. I mean, the boob shot alone.
The boob shot alone, yeah, would have easily gotten you the PG-13.
Yeah.
But and that's like mid to late 80s PG-13. You can't even get that in there now.
No.
So yeah, because God, that they just kind of lost the plot on that rating. But yeah, no, we wanted to keep this one short because, first of all, we are recording later than we normally do. And this is just the kind of movie that I don't know if an actual review would do it justice,
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many, like you mentioned before, the ratio of jokes per minute in this movie is just insane. And a good chunk of those jokes are visual jokes. I mean, like when the shit hits the fan.
Oh my God. All right. Another time when I watched this movie, HBO, watching it at my friend Jim's house. The shit hits the fan, slaps in through the fan, drops down through the grate. Jim is on the floor, dying. I think he was 10. So I got to ask you, because I already said when the first time I saw it was. When was the first time you saw Airplane? When were you introduced to this wonderful little movie?
I saw it on TV. I want to say channel 56, I think.
This one used to play a lot. This was like back when networks used to do like a Saturday night movie.
Yeah.
This one was on all the time. And that's why like most of the memories I have about this movie aren't from the first time I saw it in the movie theater, but from the viewings and then going to school and talking to my friends. Did you watch Airplane last night? Man, that movie's hilarious.
And actually the TV for the edited version had a couple of extra scenes that weren't put in the movie version.
Right. And if you want to get into the one throwaway joke, the one joke that did not need to be there, didn't add anything, it was something about them getting higher. And then they cut to Julie Haggerty, who had like the stoner glasses on, and she's smoking a joint and going, "Wow."
I don't remember that one.
Well, that was on the TV edit. That is a disposable joke.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, It just is.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, any more thoughts on Airplane besides go friggin' watch it again?
Yeah. I want you both to know we're all counting on you.
Good luck, and we're all counting on you.
Yeah.
By the way, this is also on Amazon Prime right now, I believe. So if you're not going to rent it through YouTube on the link that we post here, go to Amazon. Just do yourself the favor.
Yeah, anywhere you can find this movie, check out. It is like, it's Andy's favorite comedy of all time. It's my second favorite comedy of all time. This is a funny movie.
Yes, this is an amazing movie, and again, it transcends its age. This movie will be 40 years old next year.
Dude, we didn't even mention the staying alive.
You know what? I was just thinking about that as you mentioned that, the bar fight.
Yeah.
With the two Girl Scouts just beating the shit out of each other. And one of my favorite lines in movie history, I asked the guy next to me to pinch me to make sure I wasn't dreaming. Oh, Jesus. The whole thing is great, especially because he's got his navy whites on.
Yeah.
And then the second, like, that one Girl Scout's head goes through the jukebox. It just starts, like, staying alive, and he's already got like the John Travolta disco suit underneath it.
He takes his jacket, throws it away,
and it comes. Oh yeah, it hits him in the face. It's the same thing with the hat. He throws the hat away at one point, and it comes back and hits the bartender.
Yeah.
So yeah, please go do yourself a favor. If you haven't seen the movie in a while, please watch this movie. It is hilarious.
Like I said, I just watched it a couple of days ago. I'm still laughing my ass off. It is still hilariously funny.
I adore this movie. So anyway, what are your thoughts on Airplane? Leave a comment below. Keep it civil, please. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe too if you haven't already. We put out content every flippin' week, as evidenced by the 9:37 timestamp on here. We wanted to get this one in this week, so yeah, absolutely, we wanted to do this one. So please check us out here. We do our movie reviews every week. The audio for the little podcast that Mike and I host, Geek Salad, also appears here on YouTube, as well as at Podbean.com. That's geeksalad.podbean.com, which can also be got on the Podbean app. We're available on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Music. And you can follow our social media either at Geek Salad Radio on Twitter or Geek Salad Podcast at Facebook. Mike, am I forgetting anything?
Nope. You can follow me. You can follow me on Twitter at Gundam_Guyver, or is it Gundam-Guyver?
Yes. Or check who I'm following, and then usually he's at the top of the list somewhere.
Yeah, I vary between hyphen and underscore. I don't know.
It depends on the service.
Yeah,
it really does. So anyway, that was Airplane, and until next time, I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
Go forth and